So we are now recording January 1st, 2016. Small Business Accounting Advisors. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year.
How are your holidays?
Great.
I've been having to be a taxi for my daughter who works at the mall at night. And I don't know if I told you, she works at a yogurt shop, and one time she was there by herself, and the person that had preceded her had just quit because she had almost been assaulted by a customer.
Oh my goodness.
So my daughter was kind of freaked out, so I had to go and sit in the yogurt shop for 2 hours and stand guard.
Nice dad.
Yeah, so she was, because it was like she was there by herself. It was during, people get so crazy during the holidays at shopping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I had to, didn't want my daughter to feel stressed out as it is. So,
Well, good job, Dad.
Yep.
Comes with the territory.
Yep.
What's that saying? Having children is like having your heart walking around outside your body.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I did learn something else. It was interesting. Remember I told you I had problems with the scan snap because the drivers didn't have any Win 10 drivers.
Right.
Well, it turns out they do. They just don't tell you because you can use another version of another set of drivers for another model that works. And so now my scanner's working on my Win 10.
Oh,
So,
nice.
What
Nice.
scan snap do you have? I love my scan snap.
It's an S510. It's about 4 years old. And then there's a new one. It's like an XI or something dash.
Yeah, I was thinking of purchasing that one. But the one I have, I got I think, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it works great still. So
Yeah,
I tell myself,
mine still kind of sticks. I mean, on paper, over a certain amount, the paper will stick, so I can have to feed it one at a time. Also, I got it set up so I can scan it to my smart vault directly.
Nice.
I love Scan Snap. The CPA I used to work for years ago, she's the one that turned me on to it, and she told me that she heard about the Scan Snap then, which was like 10 years ago or so, through the police departments. That's what they would use then, the Scan Snap. And
That's one of my goals this year is to get a scanner in every one of my clients' offices. The Scan Snap is the one that I'm recommending, but also Hewlett-Packard has all-in-ones for the smaller offices that want to do other things as well as the scanning. But I want to do, Sarah Laidlaw once said that I want to put a scanner in every one of my clients' office with it programmed to my email address.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Well, one thing I found
Good idea.
on PDF files is like, for example, I've got one client, their scanner, it scans them as PNG files, and I want to convert it to PDF. So there's a thing, Google has a thing called Picasso.
Oh yeah.
And so you can download it from Picasso or download it into Picasso and then convert it and print it to a PDF file. So you can actually convert a PNG file to a PDF.
Wow.
Once I get
Wow.
PDF, then I can start checking, making tick marks on it and that kind of stuff.
Right.
PNG, it's kind of like you can't
It's
really
just a picture.
Yeah, but, I don't know, like with my, I have Macs, and the Macs you can call up any file and then you can convert it right over. You just want to save it as, and it gives you, whether it's JPEG, PNG, whatever, PDF. It's really easy to do. But the nice thing about the Scan Snap, I don't know if other scanners do this, but it immediately saves it as a PDF.
Yeah.
So let's start on our topic. I'll start with you, Yvette. What will you be focusing on in 2016 for your business? What area are you going to focus on?
Well, I want to kind of change some things. I want to I do want to make more revenue, make more money. And one of the things that I saw recently somebody put on Facebook was Darren Root's $1 Million Practice, what it should look like. And I mean, I made a copy of it. I mean, I don't know if I want to reach $1 million, but what type of clients and how many and what you charge them, you know. Also, the other thing is, aside from that, I want to have clients that are happy, you know, happy clients that really love working with me. You know, I think if, you know, when you provide a service to people and they really love working with you, it changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Deborah Kilsmeyer wrote something about that. And I thought, you know what? I think that's kind of like a motto that I want to take on, you know. I mean, I've always kind of known it, but to hear it from somebody else that does what we do, you know, because like me, I mean, we have small business and we're in here to make money. You know, we have to feed our families and have bills and everything like that. I'm a single mom, you know, and so I, you know, have my daughter's getting ready to go to college. I mean, not this year, but in about 3 more years. And so I have to start really, you know, getting serious about planning for that. So I looked at things too, you know, yeah, I want to make more money, but too, I think it will make all the difference when we provide really good service to our clients and that they're happy, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It certainly does make it feel better for you when you get
like
the
butter.
feedback.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like when somebody comes to my home, a contractor to work on my house, when a few times when they give me that service, it's just, I feel great. I trust them. You know, I feel like they're not taking advantage of me, you know. You know, so I don't know, but that's one thing that I want to really work at too, is to really, you know, build that kind of a relationship with clients, you know, that they really feel like, yeah, I'm taking care of them and I'm giving them something above and beyond.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is the one thing that you will do to help your clients come into the digital age this year?
Well, are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm. You're pretty much there with most of your clients.
Yeah, you know, because like I was telling you before, normally when I get a new client, the first thing I do once, you know, I tell them I'm going to send them my engagement letter. And what I do is I tell them I'm going to be sending an invitation to them through Dropbox with a folder, usually the name of their company or whatever, and that those documents will be in there. I don't like people sending it via email, fax, or anything like that. So they send it, I send it to them there, they get the invitation. Then when they fill them out, they put it back in there. And any documents, that's where they're supposed to put them. So I'm pretty much, I would say about a good 95% paperless now. And the other thing is when I get clients, I ask for access to their bank accounts, bookkeepers access with viewing privileges only.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way you know, years ago when I got into this business, I would have to wait or chase them to get the statements. Or then a couple of my clients, it's such a hassle to go into the bank account online to pull PDF and all this stuff. And sometimes I never would even ask them, and they would just tell me, let me just set you up, you know. So then I just implemented that with anytime I onboarded a new client. This is what I need. After I get the engagement letter and the billing authorization form from them, I send them an email and give them bullet by numbers what things are needed for me to conduct to start their bookkeeping. And that's one of them, to get bookkeepers access to their bank, savings account, credit cards, everything, and then so forth. So all my clients, I don't really deal with paper. They used to drop it off at my front door.
Way of dealing, though. I mean, not dealing with paper. A lot of people that were clients that I know that have been in business for a long time, the paper comes into the office through the mail, and they open it, and it gets put into different stacks. Bills to be paid, you know, the vice president, whatever. Things to do now, things to do later. And then once the bill, you know, gets in the to be paid pile, then you have to enter it into your accounting system, and then you have to file it, where you don't have to do any of that if you're working digitally. And it's a different mindset. It's a different mindset where you're actually going online to the banking, you know, and just downloading statements to the Dropbox, and that's the end of the filing. You no longer have to do any of that filing. but it's different for people to get used to. And even the clients that are willing to go digitally, I see Joanne has joined us.
They're probably I'll get
Still,
out.
many of them still do hold on to that paper and still will file them physically. I want to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's all. I think sometimes it's just I'm showing clients, and then it's the way we put it. To tell them, you don't have to worry about filing paper anymore. This leaves, and it has. It's more organized if you set it correctly, like on Dropbox or whatever. Cloud setup has that. And I mean, even like for my clients that I have to pay some of their bills, if they don't have bill.com, we implement something on, the Google, Dropbox, and they put the bills there in accounts payable by month or date or whatever, and bills to be paid. And then you enter them in, so there's no paperwork. They scan those.
Absolutely. That's what I want my snap scanner for. Just email it to me.
Yeah.
I would love for them to be able to handle the Dropbox all by themselves, although some can. There are still those that can't. There are still those that I say, okay, when you're making a deposit, take a picture of that, email it to me.
I don't even do the few times I get checks, because I hardly ever get checks, because everything's through automation. I use my iPhone into my bank. I have an app on my iPhone for my bank. Take a picture of it. It's there immediately. So I don't ever go to the bank. So it's easy.
Great topic, Joanne. I'm happy to see
I'm going to get out so Joanne could get in, okay?
Okay, we'll bring Joanne. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. So while we're waiting for Joanne to come in, Connie, would you like to talk to us and tell us where is your focus for 2016?
Yeah, I want to get to the way Yvette is doing her business. I'm still handling a lot of paper piles. I say my clients have a Connie pile, and I compare it to a laundry service where I come in and I clean it up and put it away. And I'm glad to see me come. But I really want to get into a more paperless operation, and I wanted to get it streamlined so that I can have someone else assist me, and I wouldn't have to talk so much. I want to have an operations manual that I can use to train somebody to handle the bookkeeping for a typical client.
So, Connie, where are you located? What area?
I'm in Wilmington, Delaware, about 20 minutes.
We're having a hard time hearing you. Something with the sound.
Oh, okay.
Better.
I'm on my iPhone,
Oh,
but I'm about 20 minutes south of Philadelphia.
So you're East Coast also.
Yeah.
East Coast, represent.
Or the right coast, whatever you want
The right
That's
coast.
right.
Well, what I'm hearing, though, is people are less computer savvy on the East Coast for some reason than the West Coast.
Really?
They seem like they've adopted it all. That, and you talk to Seth, they're all there. They're all 100%. And here we are trying to catch up.
well, look who's
Trying
on
to
the
help
west.
my clients.
Look who's on the West Coast: Apple, Google, Microsoft.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of old school thinking and a lot of tried and true processes that are very heavy paper based, and it's hard to let go of that certainty of where things are and how to find them again when you need them.
Well, Yvette says, call me sometime. Would love to talk shop with you.
Oh, good. Thank you. So that's my focus. And I'm also finishing school. My 40-year project to get my bachelor's degree is coming to a close. I graduate May 6th, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Oh, congratulations. Looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah. I used to call it a hobby.
James Clemay says East Coast has suit and ties. We're all stuffy here.
Not where I am. We're not suit and ties at No Fuss Accounting, that's for sure.
Well,
That's right.
the sense on the West Coast is that the East Coast people are a lot more stressed out, and I mean, in Seattle, have you heard the expression the Seattle chill?
Yeah.
It's basically people are very friendly on the surface, but it's really hard to get to know people, as opposed to people, I guess, from what I've read, people on the East Coast have a lot closer family relationships and, more, whereas West Coast is casually friendly, but it's hard to get to know people.
Oh, got it.
It's more, look up the Seattle chill on the internet. You'll see what people from the East Coast that are out here complain about it all the time.
Dennis, I'm going to go to you next. Where is your focus for 2016?
Well, one thing I guess more on taxes. One thing you were talking about before, I think Yvette and I think Linda had seen this thing on QBO about tax planning. So I've kind of signed up for that. It looks pretty interesting. And so that's one area I'm looking at. Also maybe more in the way of IRS representation. But what I'd really like to do if I had the time is my background has been like Excel and Access. And so maybe do some after tax season doing some projects with like pivot tables and VB lookups and macros and that kind of stuff. And maybe I used to work as a consultant and I was on this database project for Robert Half Management Resources about 12 years ago. And it was on audit and I was kind of like the database person compiling all the information and running the queries. So that'd be kind of nice. It's more of a contract freelance type of position as opposed to, I don't see for small businesses, I don't think it has that much potential because most small businesses, don't need that kind of sophistication. Or if they're big enough, they have staff it's really more of like a financial analyst type of position. As far as getting my clients more digital, I've kind of given up on a lot of them. I mean, there are people in their 60s and 70s, and that ain't going to happen. What I try to do is that on potential clients, I tell them up front that the way I work, some people really love it, some people really hate it, And I say, I work with portals, and if you're comfortable with that, fine. If not, well, maybe you should look for somebody else. So I'm trying to.
So you're only bringing on the clients that you want to work with digitally.
Unless it's really a simple tax return, that it's not, but there are some people that are so afraid of the internet, and those are people that I've sort of inherited as clients when I bought another practice or part of a practice, but it's not somebody I would seek out of my own volition in terms of an ideal client. I always tell people that when you're marketing, you really need to decide who your ideal client is in terms of where you're going to market and how you're going to market. Because otherwise you'll get involved with the chambers of commerce and that kind of thing where you're meeting a lot of non-decision makers or a lot of people that aren't really, a good fit for your business. It's kind of potluck, so you need to be more targeted.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Is Sarah going to be on today? Sarah Laidlaw?
I saw that she had subscribed, but I haven't seen her yet.
Because I had a question I have a potential nonprofit tax problem where they're getting a $5,000 tax bill. It's supposedly a nonprofit. Now I'm wondering, they must have some sort of sales that aren't really related to their business. There's it's the only thing I can think of.
The unrelated business income on a nonprofit.
That's the only way I can think of why they roll $5,000 on a 990 EZ.
Yeah, it must be they had something that was outside of their nonprofit purpose that they registered with the IRS, and they deemed it to be unrelated. So that's why they charged them that tax.
The funny thing is that it's for tax year 2011, and the person I talked to said this is the first letter she's seen from the IRS. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on. So I just thought maybe that. And so anybody else have any ideas as to why they'd be have tax bill on their $5,000 tax? So I'm going to try to get the 990 to see what it looks like.
Yeah, you need the tax return to see what was happening.
Yeah, it'll be actually a separate form that goes along with the 990 that tax is calculated on.
Okay.
I haven't done one in eons. I'd have to look it up to see what the number is, but
Yeah.
we used to have that a lot when I had a nonprofit that was also running a publication,
Oh.
and they considered the publications to be unrelated, something like that. So
Okay. Well, does anybody else want to get on? I can get off now.
James, do you want to come on?
Well, I'll just get off and let somebody else.
Okay,
Yeah.
whoever calls in, calls in. While we're waiting, Joanne,
yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I just got back from seeing Star Wars.
Cool.
Ooh,
Awesome.
Do you want me to spoil it for you? No, I won't. It was, I got to tell you, it was funny. I'll tell you a story, but I'll just preface this quick story with the fact that this isn't by any means a spoiler of the movie. Okay. But my husband, afterwards, when we were walking out, and I said, "So what'd you think?" And he goes, "Oh, I liked it." And he goes, I go, "One part was spoiled for me." And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "They were talking at school about," because he's a teacher. He goes, "One of the guys was talking at school and said he read on Facebook that he couldn't believe that C-3PO killed Princess Leia." So my husband the whole time was waiting for this rogue robot to kill Princess Leia, but it never happened. So, but it was a very good movie.
Alert.
Yeah, it was an unspoiler alert. So just
spoiler alert fail.
Exactly.
That's what you get for believing everything that you read on the internet.
I know. Well, he's
especially Facebook.
He's clueless when it comes to stuff like that. So.
So where is your focus, Miss Joanne?
My focus this year, well, at least in the immediate future, is going to be actually on the launch of my website for my other business. But as far as the tax and accounting practice goes, my focus is going to be on getting rid of the clients that I no longer want to work with, so I can be able to have time for the people that are going to be fun to work with and are going to obey my rules and make things easier for me so I can spend more time with the other business. So that's kind of my goal for at least the first half of the year.
Don't want to work with. What are they doing to make you not want to work with them?
Well, it's somebody's echoing big time. Who's echoing? Is it Connie? I think somebody's. Yeah. Okay, that's better. I don't hear I keep on hearing myself coming back through. It's not necessarily that they're not doing anything. I would say possibly communication. They don't communicate me as often throughout the year as I would like them to. They come up to me at the very last minute. For example, I had 2 people, and this is like praise the Lord. I was so happy. I don't know if you guys remember, but if you go back through the Hangouts back to last April 15th, and I was complaining about this one client, he emailed me yesterday on the 31st, demanded me to run a tax estimate for him. And so what I did was I said, well, let me send you an invoice. I totally bumped up the price so much so that he would have to make a decision. And I said, prepay the invoice, send me your check stub and your login information. I'll take a look at your file, because I could easily do it in 20 minutes. If I could get that guy to pay X amount of money, I would do it. He waited till the end of the day, then emailed me back and said, I think I'm going to hold off. And he's in Hawaii. He says, I might look for somebody here in Hawaii. I said, wonderful. You can give them the PDF of the return that I gave you, and they're in the login, and they can take over. Bye-bye. So I was like, that was the best New Year's present. And then I had another one that did a similar thing. She had been emailing me saying, I know I need to bonus something. She's an S Corp. And I said, you need to get your bookkeeper to do the work. And so the situations with a lot of my clients are, some of them, we do the internal bookkeeping, but I don't go to clients. My bookkeeping services that I offered, I only offer monthly if we have it set up online or with CrewBox. Somebody's echoing.
Echoing again.
I put my headphone on.
You're still echoing. So what happened is, she's calling me saying, well, I know it's too late. I guess my bookkeeper never got the work done. So she has a bookkeeper that she's paying cheap. Like, I think it's even below minimum wage. She's had this person working for her forever, and she does okay work, but there's a lot of things that she's lacking. She works inside of her box. Well, this person never ended up getting the stuff done in time. So she ended up leaving this year with probably over $20,000 that she should have bonused to herself, but she never did. And so I'm just going to tell her, when I'm sending out all my organizers and stuff, that, this can't happen again.
Right.
And you can't yell at me for you having to pay taxes because you weren't prepared for it, but you should have bonused yourself some money so that you could have withholdings and taking care of all this stuff. So I'm going to be looking at those people, going through my list and trying to either contact these people and say, I'm no longer doing tax, or I'm only doing tax on a limited basis, so that they will take their stuff elsewhere, because they're just pains in the butts. It's those clients that everybody has them. They take way too much of your time for what it's worth to you. Even if you do get paid good money for it, it's just you feel like you're working because they've paid you and not working because you want to serve them. And
you're
that's
saying the same thing that Yvette is saying. You want happy clients.
Dennis says, isn't it called the rank and yank list? Yes, absolutely. So that's the number one focus, is to go through so I can get an idea of ranking and, doing that A, B, C, D list, or the PITA list, and trying to readjust so I can be able to have room to bring on the really good clients that are going to want to work with me, that are going to make good money for me, and that are going to make more sense for my practice. And
so it has nothing to do with being digital or not. It's the communication.
No, because I'm like we were talking about in the East Coast, I am as techie probably as it can be if I wanted to be. So I just keep with what my customers are comfortable with. I do have a few customers that we're going to be tweaking things up as far as switching them to QBox, because they like desktop, because they need desktop because of their inventory stuff. So I'm going to be switching a few clients along to Dropbox, upgrading people that have 2012 and 2013, upgrading them either to online or the latest desktop. So we'll be doing some things like that, but there really isn't, my clients are really small clients. They're solopreneurs that really have, not a lot of activity. And, I don't feel for them there would be a need for setting up like a hub doc, or they don't need bill.com for, authorizing stuff. They don't need any of that because it's just doesn't fit in with what they do. So, for me, it's just going to be working on, getting everything set up, getting all the stuff in, and then being able to have that time that I'm saving, focusing on launching the social media consulting and that website, and being able to spend more of my time playing in that world, because that world's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still finding that I have clients that are currently in business and successful, still using a lot of paper, still reluctant to go to the digital. And my thoughts with them is to set them up with Dropbox, which is about the easiest file sharing program that there is. I'm hearing lots of talk on the Dow Jones that this is an up and coming business, that most Americans know how to use Dropbox. I have clients that tell me they can't copy and paste. I mean, what do you do with something like that?
No, speaking of Dropbox, though, I have switched. That's one of my switches. Pardon me, I'm making dinner. I'm making jambalaya while we talk.
Jambalaya.
How is the camera moving with you?
I know. It's amazing because I'm holding my laptop.
Oh,
It looks like the chandelier thing.
I know it's really 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I'm getting busy.
most of my clients, the one thing that I am doing is wow, I'm kind of dizzy now.
Well, I'm too. I'm watching you.
I'm switching everybody from, actually, Gina, that you mentioned it, Dropbox. I'm switching them from Dropbox to Box. So I'm having all of my clients inside of Box.com now, and I actually did not renew my Dropbox membership, and I'm only going to be using that for a very few things, mainly for myself to move stuff quickly if I want to, to and from my phone or whatever. But I'm really not going to be using that for clients. I really like the Box platform better for sharing things back and forth. And I even have one client, and this actually has worked very well too. I have one client that we set up. She shared an Evernote folder with me, and she scans all of her stuff inside of Evernote.
Okay.
And then it comes into a separate folder inside of my Evernote. So if I ever want to search for something inside of her notebook, I can just search the dollar amount because she has a premium version and so do I. I can search for something automatically and be able to find dollar amounts and
nice.
Payees, deposits, any of that kind of stuff. It's very, very easy to find. So, yeah.
I had kind of an interesting experience. I was throwing caution to the wind this weekend. I decided to try to take the QBO advanced exam, and I took one section of it, and I thought, it's really kind of a weird exam in the sense that they've got like maybe 6 or 7 problems, and each problem's worth so many points, and each problem I have like 2 or 3 different sections. What I found interesting, like there was this one question had like 12 points. It had like about 6 or 7 answers that you could, or it was like select from a list of things that you want to do after you did certain things. And there's no partial credit. And so it's either all or nothing.
So you get one little section wrong of the 6 that you've done. You got to figure out which section is wrong.
Well, no, they tell you which. Actually, they give you the sections. They give you the parts of the section you got right. But within, like, say, one question, you may have like 3 different sections, and each section might have anywhere from 1 to or 3 to 5 possible answers. So, like on say question 3, where you have like 7, there's a list of 7. You're supposed to pick the things you'd want to do after you did a conversion. And so it appears that if you got 1 wrong out of the 7, you get 0 credit for the whole thing. It's not partial credit. And so it seems to be kind of like all or nothing on the problems. Either you get, if you have like say 10 or 7 possible answers, or like 7 things on a list, that you pick the ones that you need to do and the ones you don't have to do. It would seem like if you picked 1 wrong, or you didn't get any credit. And I thought, that's kind of a bullshitty way of scoring an exam. So I'm thinking, no, I really want to spend the time, money, and energy on this, since I don't really use QuickBooks Online that much. But it was interesting. It was, I guess I would disagree with the way they're scoring the exam.
A lot of people have said that they don't like the advanced test. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I may wait until they change the way they do it, because I just think that it's unrealistic. I mean, on the CPA exam, they give you partial credit. At least they used to. I mean, if you get 5 out of 6 right on a question, and then you get 1 wrong and you don't get any credit for it, and it's like a 12-point question, that seems like kind of a. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought if anybody else has had that experience yet.
It's something that's on my list to do, but right now there's a lot of year-end stuff to do first. So
yeah, I may try it again after. I might try it again after tax season, but I just thought, I just don't have the time to be screwing around with this kind of thing,
Right. Well, my main focus is going to be focusing on my business and not getting lost down the rabbit hole on these shiny new apps that keep coming out for everything.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to focus on the apps that work for me. QBox, Bill.com, T-Sheets, and not really go into a new app unless I have a reason to use it or a client to use it with.
Or it's going to replace another app.
Or,
does.
well, I'm not willing to replace apps at this point. If I have
Well-
an app that's working, I'm going to stay with it. I don't think that I need to have my clients go through the stress of changing to another way just because another way is available.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't use QBOs because I've got people sort of semi-trained on my website, so I don't want to confuse them. And
Absolutely, absolutely. If you've got something that's working, I'm going to stick with it.
like I like Zoho, and maybe it doesn't do anything. What's that saying? The perfect is the enemy of the good. I mean, it's like it's going to be a constant striving to get the perfect app, and you're going to.
Absolutely. I haven't found a good CRM that I like. Zoho would come the closest, but the cost to me is prohibitive.
Well, like I pay like $20 a month, and it meets my needs. One thing I do like about it is that they've got an attachment section. I've got this thing called Umail. It's like $10 a month, and it will save the video, it will save the audio, and you can save it as an MP4 file and then attach it on. What I do is that if it's an important phone call and I don't want to lose it, I will save it as an MP4 file, and then on my Zoho homepage or on each client's homepage, or I will attach it as an attachment. So I've got it there. And also, like if I've got power of attorney on something, it's nice everything's centralized in one spot, so I can import things from my Smart Vault that I've saved it to, like power of attorneys and maybe the tax return. So rather than having to go look for things, I can just do it from my home, from that. Because I spend most of my time in Zoho. I probably spend over half my time in Zoho each day when I'm working, because I'm constantly switching back and forth between clients.
Right, absolutely. And that's a good recommendation for Zoho, actually, that you spend half your time in it, that you're using it.
There's another thing you can have, like 10 external links. So like if I want to have the QBO sample file link on there on my Zoho page, I can click on that. Or if I want to have, other links that I use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you can only have like 10, but if you wanted to have like QBox, you could put that there. If you want to have like your Intuit Tax Online, your tax return, you could put it there. So I like that part of it.
Nice, nice.
So you're saying you're going to focus on just your business on the business and not getting involved with.
Well, there's so many new apps out there that look like they're going to do, a great job. I just think that there's a huge gap between the people that are able to use these apps and the people and the apps themselves. I just don't think they're user friendly yet. I've talked to a lot of people, and in particular, I talked to my 15-year-old granddaughter who told me she has the same problems I do. So that tells me that, excuse me, all of these apps are not really ready yet. They're not ready for general use. If they are not easy to use and you have no help, I'm going to give an example. I was on a webinar to learn a new app, and they were talking about this new feature that they brought out. And my question was, well, what version do I have? Do I have the version with the new feature or not? How do I find out what version I have? And so their answer was, go to the client and the about page. Well, on the surface, that sounds really easy. But first of all, what's a client? To me, a client's something I bill for work I do. For the developer, they meant the app on the computer, not on the website. So I went there and I saw two things, a gear sign and my name. And I thought, oh, well, it should be under the gear sign. No, not so. I had to put my cursor over my name where the green dot that says I'm online, and then another menu came up, and then it wasn't even the about page there. You had to go to look for updates, and then the about page came up. My clients would not understand that at all. So to me, there still needs to be a lot of room to have the apps easier to use by regular people that are not techie, that are not used to doing all of this.
But if you start, like what I do is I think of my time and my energy the same as I think of money in terms of being a scarce resource. And if I spend a lot of time and energy, I never get my time back.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there are apps that are really amazing.
Yeah.
And really good. I think T-Sheets is one of those game changers.
Yeah,
Super easy.
Still, you're looking for an ROI, though. If you're going to invest time and energy and money to learn something, you're expecting some kind of payoff as opposed to just...
Absolutely. You want to be able to save time. I actually have a client that has somebody that comes into work every day. They are a major part of the office, and they don't have a computer.
Wow.
So there's and it's this company does $5 million in business a year, and one of the major officers in the office every day does not have a computer. So there's I mean
the look on your face, Yvette.
Hard to believe, but they're doing business, and they're successful at it. They're successful with their methods.
In spite of themselves.
In spite of themselves. And they asked me to come in and help them get into the digital age. They feel like they're doing everything old-fashioned. Well, first thing you need is a computer. Or you need processes. She could get by if other people were to print reports for her. But again, you're still using paper. It all depends on the clients.
Yeah, I guess, I keep thinking about how you get clients, how you have clients like that. I don't have too many clients like that. And maybe it's because when I first get the call, I kind of tell them how we do business, and one of the things I ask them, like for me, I won't go service a client in. I don't want to do that. So if they need training, I usually offer that to somebody else, either someone that works, for me to train them and what have you, or to one of my colleagues. So as far as having clients that I have to go into the office and do things for them, I tell them right up front, I'm sorry, I don't offer that type of service anymore, And so then
right, I guess that's the big difference. I
even say, well, I'm interested in how do you do your, how do you do it? And so I tell them, and this, well, that would work great, or either, oh no, I really need someone to come in. And so that's like just a couple days ago, I had a client that they have this company and they want someone to come in there and handle also their, accounts payable and everything like that. And I said, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't do that type of thing. And, she says, well, how do you do it? And I said, I do everything remotely and this is how we do it. And she says, I think that would work even better because they're in another country, and then the company's out here. So I just said, okay, well, and so anyways, they're becoming a client of mine. So that's how I siphon those kind of clients. And I mean, there was a time where I took in everything. I would actually go to the client.
right.
I mean, I was there, most of the day and have you. And sometimes it worked out great, but I like to work out of my home, and I'm a single mom. And when my daughter's home from school, I want to be here. So that's one of the main reasons why I do it. And
so clients, that I'm bringing in, I bring in like that. But this particular client has been a client for over 10 years before we started really doing things online or whatever. And they have a nice business built, and they have their own procedures that work for them.
Yeah. And, that's like I have one client that I've been doing their bookkeeping probably close to 10 years. And I see him every Tuesday morning, but he's actually one of my favorite clients, and I go there every Tuesday. Every now and then I can't make it, and he's fine. He's very casual, but he is basically the only one I do that with. And, I just do it. I'm happy and he's happy. And
that's the nice thing about having your own business. You can make exceptions. I've got certain clients that, especially on the older tax clients, that I will actually go to their house. but I don't do that for more than probably 4 or 5 clients. I
Mm-hmm.
used to, when I did QuickBooks training, I used to go out to their office, but since I don't really do QuickBooks training anymore, it's very rare that I go to somebody's place of business.
Right, and that is the difference too. What I was doing in the past more was training and set up and clean up and that kind of thing, where now I'm doing bookkeeping. So when I set people up, I want access to their bank, like you said, as a view only or an accountant user or something like that. Also their payroll. And I want to be able to get the information and download it to Dropbox myself. I don't want to have to wait for them, because you could wait forever if you're waiting for information from a client.
Yeah.
You're laughing, Connie. You know what I mean. So it's just easier and quicker to do it myself. But on the older clients, I'm trying to get them to that Dropbox place. I'm trying to get them to start working in it and seeing the advantages. They'll see the advantages right away, and start using it and start thinking on the lines of, instead of hitting that print button, hit the save button, or hit the print and save as PDF.
Right.
And not so much, printing out everything and handing a paper from one place to another. So we've lost Yvette. I don't know what happened there. So,
D and business services.
Joanne, would you like to come back on? Silence. Yes, Joanne, you.
Who, me?
Okay, here comes Joanne.
No, I was talking Star Wars with my husband or with my son. So that's why I didn't quite hear what you said. And I'm like, I heard her say something. Does somebody want to come back in? That's why I had to ask. So I didn't know if you were talking about me or not.
Well, we were just talking about bringing clients up to speed and what clients are working digitally for you and which ones are not. Your older clients that you've had clients for 10 plus years?
The older clients are not. I finally got this one client to learn how to download her bank statement into a PDF and get it to me. And I have
It's a big step for some clients.
I'm telling you. And then there's this one lady, I love her to death. She's an older lady. And I got connected to her through some work that I used to do with a law firm. And I just help her with her personal finances. And we have her stuff on QuickBooks, and I enter it up and I run budget numbers for her and stuff like that. Not that she needs a budget by any means. And I sent her an online invoice to pay because I have all of my people, what I've been using lately, I've been using 17 Hats. So I sent her an invoice for payment, and she emails me back and she says, my son thinks this site is squirrely, so I can't pay you. She's so afraid of the internet. It's like she has to change she has all of her passwords in a red book, and it's uppercase, lowercase. And when she tells me a password, she sends 4 digits via text. She sends 2 of them via email, and then she calls me with the other 2. It's crazy, and it's so frustrating. But that's because she's just not ready to take that step and to go into the cloud and, deal with that type of stuff, because there are so many people that are getting their identity taken away and are getting stuff stolen from them because they're using online resources and stuff. So I think it becomes really important for us as accountants and bookkeepers and tax professionals to be that, that trusted advisor, to be able to direct them into what's going to work for them, what's not going to work for them. And if they do feel uncomfortable, all as we can do is assure them the best as possible. And if it doesn't work, we have to work with what they want to deal with, or you just choose not to work with that client. So for my older clients, I am a little bit more lenient into bringing them into the new millennium. But a lot of my newer clients, because I do get a lot of new clients, a lot of onboarded clients, because of the fact that I do speak at a new business course once a month at our community college. So I end up getting a ton of people contacting me that are just starting off. So I start them out correctly, and it's never an issue. You know, we talk about all their things. And now, and I can say the other thing. So, you know, one of the things I put in the chat was, you know, let's all talk about what's the newest app that you found that was helpful to you for 2015. You know, what worked, what did you like about it and stuff like that. For me, it was Trello. When I started using Trello, because I actually started using that a little bit more for my task management and for getting things done. But then again, Gina, like you were saying, there have been so many apps that I have tried that it's just, I'm glad I tried them, because I know that it's not there yet. And I know when I always have to try to at least dive into them a little bit to see when I feel they will be the most appropriate for my clients. But when at the end of tax season last year, I invested in getting this MacBook Pro and getting more comfortable into the Mac environment and understanding the needs of a person that runs on Mac computers. I think that has helped me tremendously with being able to onboard clients in the photography and the graphic design industry, because I get their needs for Mac and what they want to work with and what cloud apps they want to work with. So, but again, you have to figure out where those clients are and what their needs are. And it's either, you know, you deal with it or you get rid of the client.
Well, I have clients that I like, and I'm not ready to just toss them to the wind just yet. I want to help them to get there. I want to help them to get into the digital world. I know there are things that can help them and make their life a lot easier.
But I think the big key word is that you said you enjoy working with those clients. That's the big difference. It's when the clients become troublesome and become a pain in the butt is when it becomes an issue, and then you have to redirect. Do you guys want to see the jambalaya?
Yes.
Let's see if we can get a good picture of it. Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
I bet you didn't know this was Blab Smell-O-Vision.
Smells delicious.
It's too funny.
Well, I do have a client that actually tried to hire me as a $15 bookkeeper.
Oh, don't you hate those?
I'm going to try and convert them to outsourcing their bookkeeping. I'm going to go in front of the board and I'm going to talk to them about the benefits of just letting me take over their bookkeeping for them and have access to the bank accounts and have, you know, online hooked up so that the transactions are downloading. Everyone will have access all the time. We'll see how it goes. If they want a $15 an hour bookkeeper, not even 20, 15, right?
No.
They're perfectly welcome to go find someone else. My proposal will be different.
Is it going to take 40 hours or 10 hours? I mean, it makes a big difference on how long it's going to take.
Well, okay. I have enough experience now to be able to look at a person's QuickBooks and get a good idea of how long it's going to take to get everything done. There are a couple questions that I have that what else is involved. I want to know what tasks they want performed. I want to know what reports they want at the end of the month, as opposed to how many hours it's going to take me.
Right. Are they prepared to pay $15 an hour for 40 hours a week?
Well, you know, that's the difference too, because their $15 hour bookkeeper is going to take many more hours than what I will. So I think it'll come out, you know, comparative, and I think that they're ready to have it easier and have someone take care of it for them.
Right.
We'll
Good
see how
luck.
it goes. Thank you. And they will or they won't. That's the choice. And even if they don't right now, maybe next time they'll be willing. Maybe they'll be looking at that $15 an hour bookkeeper a little differently.
Yeah.
So, I think we're just about out of time. We have a couple more minutes, but are there any more questions?
So there's little more cost to you. Call now and get free shipping and our complimentary pain relieving gel.
What's that noise?
I think that's Donna, and it keeps telling me poor internet signal.
Oh,
She was asked.
For 9
somebody else.
years, Unabomber.
Who was talking about the Unabomber? Who is that?
Is that you, Connie? Did you have TV on?
She had a mute.
She muted.
Donna's question was, what do you do when the client wants to stay out of the clouds?
Well, I think that comes down to what you said, Joanne.
Yeah.
You either deal with it or you don't. It depends on how well you like that client.
Yeah. Because you know what? Here's the thing is that it's, and again, I think it also depends on where you are location-wise, because we talked about it earlier. East Coast, they are a little bit behind the times when it comes to online stuff. I mean, I have people here that know nothing about Twitter, talking about social media stuff in Syracuse. They're so far behind the times. So when it comes to, being in the cloud, and again, if it's somebody where you think you can work around it and they're willing to still pay and you think it'll be a good relationship and they'll be able to get you the information you need. I have a guy right now that really doesn't go in the cloud, but he sends me his PDF bank statements, and it takes me I think it takes me less time than if I had it synced into QBO, but I just use I think it's able to extract. I just use that, put it into Excel, and I use batch enter. And I already have a spreadsheet set up. It took a little bit of time, but so wouldn't set something up, on QuickBooks Online. But I have everything set up and copied into lists so that I know exactly when he puts something to advertising. It ties out exactly to how it's worded in his desktop, and I just highlight the whole thing when it's all said and done, copy and paste it into batch, and I'm done.
Nice.
I can do a month in maybe 20 minutes.
Well, I will say that when I am converting customers, I no longer use the word cloud computing.
Yep.
I use outsourcing your bookkeeping. Like I am taking the responsibility off of your shoulder. Yeah. I am helping you out. Where cloud computing just has such a negative thing.
Yeah.
Now.
What I do is when I talk about the different services that I use, I differentiate it. I differentiate it between how often it needs to be done. So in other words, I don't do weekly bookkeeping. That's not a service I offer. If they need somebody weekly to help them invoice, to help them pay bills, that's not me. I refer them to one of my other bookkeepers that are kind of in my network that I work with. If they want it done monthly and have the bookkeeping updated monthly, where they do a portion of the stuff, and maybe I've trained them how to do their own invoicing, and then they receive the payment, and then we do everything else, that's different. That would be the monthly bookkeeping, or I'll do quarterly reviews or half-year reviews. Very few people do I want to do an all-year review. I just don't want those. I don't need those for clients. I want people that want to be in touch with me more frequently throughout the year, because of the fact that I don't just review their stuff. We do tax planning. It's one thing Dennis was talking about at the beginning here. That's something that I've offered since day one. I'm a tax practitioner. I'm an enrolled agent. I tax plan with my clients throughout the year, and my tax software, which is Drake, has a tax planner built right in where I can easily run different scenarios by changing the buttons and be able to tell them, what they can do to change. If they wanted to make a retirement funding adjustment, whatever they want to do, I can make those changes, but we talk about it quarterly throughout the year at least. Yes, I'm on the East Coast, and I had one who worked on someone's books who used the binded journal books. Yes, I've seen those books. I love those books. Those books smell really good. I love those books.
Depends on how big your business is.
Yep.
If it's only a couple transactions, you can do it. But when you're talking,
Well,
hundreds.
I had a client last winter. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it, but they had everything was on 13-column paper and those big journal books.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was mesmerized with those things because they did everything in those books. And I had to put all those. I had to summarize those all into Excel and create a trial balance. And it was a government. It was a village, which government accounting is totally different than real
Absolutely
accounting.
it is. You got do full and do from.
So that was a lot of fun. But I got to teach that lady a lot about Excel.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm going to close for today. Any final words from anyone? Connie, do you want to unmute? Say.
Bye. I've had a great hour with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Connie.
And
Bye.
next week, we'll be back to our regular Zoom platform again.
I love when you say that. Our regular Zoom. We used to be over on Google. Remember Google back in the day? Remember back in the old days?
This year is the year of Zoom.
The year of Zoom. I know.
Stick with what you know and what works.
Don't worry, Zoom. We'll be back next week.
That's right. All righty, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.